The Dalai Lama drops another massive red pill. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious, and today on twitter.com. So, as many of you well know, the Dalai Lama recently dropped a massive red pill. Dalai Lama warns that the whole of Europe could become Muslim or African if immigrants are not returned to their home countries. Well, that was a massive red pill. I'll just read the bullets here, and then we'll return to the other red pill. Dalai Lama claims Europe is for Europeans, and migrants should be sent back. The Buddhist warned that Europe could be Muslim or African if they are not returned. And that's the best part of this. A lot of people were reeing over this and freaking out, but he's absolutely correct. You're risking replacing an entire group of people and changing an entire culture. Nobody knows better than Buddhists what it's like to deal with Muslim and African populations. They are frequently at war, and Buddhists are some of the most peaceful people on the planet. So to get them to fight back and defend themselves, you truly have to come from a distorted and bent culture. Spiritual leaders said continent should help refugees get skills before going back. Massive deportations. I absolutely agree. He also expressed his admiration for the EU for helping to stop global conflicts. I disagree there. Now, I originally wanted to cover that story, but some people just gobble up all the news. So I'm going to talk about this other red pill that he's dropped. But before we begin, you could be the proud owner of the amendment. The amendment will stick to your MacBook and you can slide it and use it to cover your camera. They also have a Nyan Cat version, which is pretty dank. If you're interested in purchasing one, you can find the affiliate link down below in the description. Dalai Lama says a female successor must be attractive, or people won't want to look at her face. It's literally the truth. It's completely and utterly true. Now, I know there's a lot of people who don't like this simple fact, but it's actually extremely simple. You see, every study that you read, every study out there will say that people who are more beautiful or more handsome have better prospects in life. People like you more, people treat you better, everything is better. You have more opportunities, you can become a model, you can become a celebrity off of looks alone oftentimes. It isn't fair, but it is a fact of life, especially for cults. The better you look, the easier it all is. Handsome people can make cringy jokes and people will laugh. An ugly person could make the same joke and nobody laughs. It's almost like it's all about the physical. Now, if you really got to get into that monk mindset. A female successor must be attractive or people won't want to look at her face. That's true. It's literally true. If someone has an attractive face, you're going to be drawn to that face. You're going to believe what they're saying more. The facts back the Dalai Lama up on every single case. Yeah, let's look at some responses and then we'll go to that article. Sarah says, 2019 is rough. Cole Street Pothole says, yes, all men. Yeah, no duh. Okay. Look, I'm not a picky guy. Like I've said before, I'll take a plain Jane over Floozy Susie any day. Any day of the week. But nobody dislikes a cute face. In fact, women are often far more judgmental. Frezin Trobin says, although he is totally wrong, he is right. And mostly you have people freaking out that the Dalai Lama dare tell the truth. Dare say what we all know to be true deep down. So let's check out this article. The Dalai Lama has suggested that any female that succeeds him as Buddhist leaders must be attractive, despite receiving backlash for similar comments he made in 2015. In the wide-ranging interview with the BBC, the guru made a series of additional controversial remarks touching on immigration in Europe, the Chinese government, and the first 2 years of President Donald Trump's term. There's nothing a person hates more than to hear the truth. One of the most troubling comments came while discussing an interview in 2015, in which he stated that if a female was to become the next Dalai Lama, she would have to be very attractive, otherwise not much use. The BBC's South Asia correspondent Rinji Vadayanathan asked the Dalai Lama if he understood why the response had offended women. But rather than apologize, the Buddhist leader replied, if a female Dalai Lama comes, then she would have to be more attractive. He added that if a female Dalai Lama then paused and pulled an unattractive face before continuing, I think people would prefer not to see that face. Challenged that a person's character is more important than their physical appearance, he replied, yes, I think both. It's called reality, folks. The Dalai Lama also told the BBC that gender equality was important and that he supported women's equal and that he supported women's rights and equal pay in the workplace. Oh, now you have officially gone too far, buddy. The Dalai Lama also took the opportunity to hit out at President Donald Trump, lamenting his lack of moral principle and calling the U.S. to take global responsibility. You lost me there, folks. You lost me there, Dalai Lama. I do not agree whatsoever. The United States, what it really should do is adopt Manifest Destiny 2.0 and spread its rightful empire. Perhaps start with Canada, succeed Canada into the Union, break up those regions into new states, expand. That is the only kind of global responsibility that I can accept. The Dalai Lama remains a significant thorn in the side of the Chinese government in Beijing. Living in exile in northern India, he remains a potent symbol of anti-authoritarian resistance and the Tibetan independence movement. China has controlled the region since 1951. Yeah, China has the right idea. America is literally bleeding. Though he has enjoyed good relations with past presidents, including Barack Obama and George W. Bush, the Dalai Lama has never met nor spoken by phone with Trump. The president's disregard for one of the world's most famous spiritual leaders is evidence of China's growing diplomatic clout. Though the Dalai Lama said that he had no worries about a Trump presidency following his election victory in 2016, his opinion of the 45th president has clearly soured in years since. Well, probably because of all the propaganda. Anti-Trump this and anti-Trump that, blah, blah, blah. But I have a feeling that Trump and the Dalai Lama would agree on a lot of these red-pilled, monk-like points. You know, observing the basic truth of reality with no filter. And why is this article derailing into Trump? See, this is exactly what I mean. The mainstream media, literally, they're deranged. They all have Trump derangement syndrome. They all can't seem to get it out of their butts. He described Trump as having a lack of moral principle and stated that America's first ideology is wrong. Oh, really? Really? So you say Europe should be for the Europeans, right? But saying that America should be for Americans, oh, that's going too far. You know, I don't get you sometimes. Instead, he argued America should take global responsibility rather than close its borders and bow out of international agreements like Paris Climate Accord. Okay, I disagree. And you're kind of being a hypocrite here, Dalai Lama. At the same time, I do like the red pills. To err is human, eh? Like I said, the only kind of global responsibility I support is if America were to expand its borders. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your own nation and your allies. The Dalai Lama himself, a refugee, also doubled down on controversial comments he made about mass migration to European nations. He has previously argued that while Europe should accept migrants and refugees, it should do them with the goal of educating and training new arrivals with a view of returning them to their countries of origin to promote development there. Now that's absolutely red-pilled. I still think it's too far. We don't owe foreigners anything. I don't think they are owed training or education. Let them stay in their countries. If they truly cared about making their countries a better place, they wouldn't run away like cowards. Do you really want unloyal cowards to be a part of your own nation? He stood by his previous assertion that Europe is for Europeans and America is for Americans. Change my mind. Though once again said that nations should take in migrants in need. No, I disagree. Asked whether people should be allowed to stay if they wish to, the Dalai Lama said a limited number is okay. I can agree with that. But for the whole of Europe to eventually become a Muslim country, impossible. Or an African country, also impossible, he added while laughing. So as you can clearly see, it's a mixed bag. Some of his views are kind of contradictory, but you know he's a flawed human being. I just find it hilarious that he's saying all of these red-pilled things and people are absolutely losing their minds. And basically they're all calling him ugly. Like, it amazes me. The moral contradiction and hypocrisy on all sides of the field. Oh, how dare the Dalai Lama call women ugly. The Dalai Lama is ugly. Yeah, way to be above, right? You claim you have the moral high ground, but you stoop just as low. Not to mention, the Dalai Lama has a nice smile, and smiles are seen as attractive. So at the very least, a woman would have to have a very nice smile. Scene here says, live footage of the Dalai Lama putting thoughts in their place. You know, I think it goes without saying that we live in a post-truth society. It's gotten so bad that people, they're so in denial of basic reality that they literally cannot handle true statements. Drop those red pills, I say. Blow their minds. But that's merely the obvious. What do you think about the Dalai Lama dropping all of these massive red pills? Do you find it humorous? Do you disagree with his assertions? Be sure to let me know. Now, as I'm constantly being demonetized, you can help support me by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar for as low as $1. There are different tiers, you can choose what you wish. Doing so will get you access to Fight Club, a private Discord server. You can also donate via PayPal. Lastly, you can always share the video on social media. YouTube is no longer putting our videos in suggested feeds. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.